Vinita, good evening to you. Thank you very much for taking the time. Our other guests are also going to be joining us extremely shortly. But of course, what do you make of this entire situation that has panned out in Kerala for starters, and also with the fact that the BJP is talking about appeasement politics? We heard what Anil Anthony had to say. Your opening remarks before we go across to my other guests who are going to be on the panel shortly.
No, absolutely shocking and dangerous times over here in Kerala for us when we have, so many incidents that have been happening in a series with similar kind of offense and similar kind of the terrorist attack, when there is this improvised explosive device wrapped up in letterboxes, wrapped up in a tiffin box. And that's been happening since many years. In 2003, we had a massacre in Murray Beach against Hindu fishermen. In 2006, we had it in a transport bus stand in Kozhikode. And then in 2006 again, in Trivandrum, like I said, the letterbox incident, IED wrapped up in a letterbox. And then we had an Ernakulam collectorate on the 5th floor of Ernakulam collectorate. There was a IED device wrapped up in a tiffin box again. So these are the kind of, so-called, it deceptively appears as a Lone Ranger incident, but it's actually not. And it's a series of terror attacks that have been happening. And, and it's also kind of gone up to the extent of setting ablaze coaches and trains. So this is the kind of radicalization and the kind of extremism that Kerala has been witness to, unlike what is happening across the country, where our government has been, doing so much to secure our borders, and we've had resolution of long-standing issues like Jammu and Kashmir. After so much time, we've had peace there when the red of the snow-capped mountains have become white after so many years, and so there's so much of efforts being taken by our government to to protect our country against the terror attacks. And we can, recall how vulnerable we were before 2014 when we had attacks to even the symbol of our sovereignty, which was the Parliament House. So we've gone a long way from that, and our country has been extremely secure the last 10 years. But as Kerala has been a vulnerable hotspot, unfortunately, and and when if you look at the kind of linkages that we are having to various other global terror outfits, and we have to recall the recent crackdown that we had in the PFI chain in Kerala. So the Kerala government should not be in denial of what's happening. They should take cognizance of what is happening and the series of crimes that innocent civilians are being subject to. And and the fact that they were hosting the Hamas leader through a video conference to address a huge congregation of Muslim youth in Kerala itself, in Malappuram, just the other day, was extremely disturbing, because we are actually singing a different tune from what the central government and what our Ministry of External Affairs is actually giving out to the United Nations and giving out to the whole world. We cannot have an isolated voice supporting Hamas, and I mean, it is a freedom of expression, but at the same time, we cannot support a terrorist outfit. We can support Palestine or we can support Israel, but we cannot support Hamas, and we cannot support the terror attack that happened on October 7th. So these are the kind of, incidents that have been happening in the recent past. And then we see this terror attack at the Jehovah congregation. So, I mean, we'll have to really investigate deeper into this incident, whether it was just a Lone Ranger attack by one person whose mind was disturbed by a disturbed young Jehovahite, or is it something that's linked to a larger terrorist kind of, a chain of events? So that is something the Kerala government has to really investigate and take cognizance of, and, ensure that there is no more such isolated incidents of terror which are linked to larger chains of global terror attacks, I would say.